Coach Trent Krim, the Independent. I hope you get the reference.
Me too.
You do? Okay, good.
Clever.
What do you expect out of this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's early to have some expectations. I know we've had 3 weeks or so of practice, but the simple expectation is that we'll play hard. We'll represent the program and the school in the right way. And we'll have a group of kids that look like they enjoy playing the game together.
I have a question.
Okay. I met you your first day, didn't I? You were wandering around.
You gave me a tour
Yeah,
around.
Liverpool, right?
Yes, and you're a Bills fan.
I am.
Very excited
Good to see you
hear that.
again.
Yeah, thank you for showing me around. I still get lost every now and then.
It's a big building with a lot of
It really
doors and
is.
stairs.
After losing some of your key scorers and defensive players from last season, who do you expect to step up into those roles this season?
Yeah, well, I mean, two things. To me, we didn't lose anybody because they're all our players now. So, everybody we have has a chance to contribute, and I think will. The 3 ladies sitting in the back are going to be really important to what we do. Tiana Johnson, all 10 are going to be really important to what we do. To keep Tiana Johnson healthy is going to be a really big thing. I just think we have a lot of folks that can do a lot of different things. And if they're all clicking, we're going to have a good night. But I think we also have enough to pick each other up if somebody's having an off night.
Yeah, and another question for you. It was a difficult season for last year, starting out new in this program since 2016. What are some key points that you want to improve on?
I think one of the biggest things, I think it was really, there was a lot of challenges for our group. And I think one of the hardest things is to work as hard as you do and see some of the other programs have the support with crowds, and then you go out and have a really quiet home arena, and knowing that you work. So one of the things that we hope to help them with is how to draw people back there. And we've kind of made a promise to them, if you play hard, they'll come back. And I think that's the case, and I think they deserve that and understand that. And so if we can reestablish this place and make this, our place, and to steal from Coach McDermott, defend our dirt, I think that's a great starting point for us, and will help build a lot of other things we want to do.
Coach, the last 6 months, how much growth have you seen on this group since you've been back?
That is an excellent question, and I couldn't put a number or a statistic on it, but it's way more than I expected. And not just as basketball players, but as people and as a group. Down at A10 Media Day, I used the phrase that this group has invigorated me, and I'd use it again because they're willing to work, they're willing to listen, and they're willing to play together. And if they stay with that, the scoreboard thing will do its thing. But we'll be moving in a very good direction if they stay with that.
How do you balance expectations with this group? I mean, obviously, when you're here in the past, you've had so many great teams here, but a younger group, a group that you're developing, a smaller group than most years. How do you balance those expectations kind of in year one of the second stint?
Yeah, I mean, the past was a lot of fun, but right now it's just for stories. It doesn't matter. What matters is this group and the folks we go to work with every day, and they've got our full attention, and they've earned that. So our expectations for them is that we play hard, we play together, and we get better, a little bit better every day.
You've only got 10 players on your roster. Has there been any issues with that so far? I mean, how do you balance that?
You need 5. I mean, and most people don't play more than 8 or 9. There's a lot of teams, some real close to here, that do pretty well with only playing 5 or 6 or 7. So I think we have 10 that can play. I think if you ask most coaches if they have 10 that could play, they'd take that in a heartbeat. So I'm excited about that. I think we have 10 that have some versatility. If there's some injuries or different things, well, then other people have opportunities to take advantage of that. But it's who we are, and we had chances to add some folks. Some things didn't work out. But as I saw our group's chemistry over the summer, it was going to take someone really special to get into that, because what they were building, I thought was really important to what we could be.
Who's been your biggest surprise so far? Who's taken, in your eyes, maybe the biggest step or surprised you the most on the progress they made?
There's something I could say for everyone, honestly, as far as whether it be on the floor, as far as leadership, maturity. There's something that all of them have done to improve, as well as things that they've done to help us. And I expect that to continue all year, to be very honest. What's your name, by the way?
Nathan.
Nathan?
Solomon.
I met you last year, right?
Yes,
All right,
Nathan.
it's all coming back to me.
Yeah,
A little
I'll be
older.
on, broadcasting
Yeah,
for
I met you up
across the
upstairs, the
Yeah.
Buzz. All right, it's coming back to me. Thank you, Nathan. I don't know if you had any more. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Probably a little bit.
Yeah. Good.
Hey, Coach, Johnny Walker.
Yeah, the legend back there.
I remember one of the big things from your introductory press conference was recruiting, the focus you wanted to have on it. So you bring in a couple transfers, a freshman. How would you evaluate this job you and your staff did recruiting this offseason?
The first recruiting we had to do was who to stay, and in that aspect, I think the kids here did a great job because they made a decision to stay. They went through some stuff in the spring together and grew. So I think that in that aspect they did a great job with that. And then to kind of similar to Nathan's question, we looked at who we could get in, who would fit. And the three folks we brought in, Danny, Bella, and Tamar, I think it fit really well. All bring different things, not just as players, but as people as well. So I think in that aspect, folks would look and say, hey, you need the numbers, you need the numbers. I think one of the most important things in any program, I think even bigger here, is making sure you find people that fit and who are appreciative of what this place offers and how special it is. So I think in that aspect, what we brought in and what the staff did, I'm very pleased with.
And then you mentioned a lot of consistency from last year to this year. Last year, this was a team that saw a lot of full court press, kind of struggled getting the ball up the court cleanly. Are you expecting more full court press this season? Is that something you're thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think people are going to try and take advantage of whatever they can against us. And one of the issues was not taking care of the ball. I think we have a lot of people that can handle it. I think a lot of people can pass it. We've hopefully put them in spots where they feel confident and comfortable to do that. But that's part of the joys of coaching. Like through a season, you see what teams try to take away from you and what teams try to expose against you, and you figure out ways that you play to your strengths. So we certainly knew from the get-go that that's going to be an area, and we'll see that from the first game. I mean, Niagara presses more than, I think, other than one team in the country. So I'm excited to see how we handle that.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Coach, I want to touch on your non-conference schedule. I mean, you've got a lot of local opponents. You've got a Big 12 opponent in West Virginia. What was kind of the balance you were looking for when putting together that schedule? Because I know college basketball scheduling is so difficult.
Yeah, it's changed drastically over the last few years in that it's really hard to get any Power 6 teams to travel. They just buy everybody. So trying to get home and homes with folks like that just isn't what it was 5 years ago even. So as we looked at opportunities, if we want to get good nationally, we first got to be good regionally. So we've got to look at the local teams, and there's some teams playing really well locally, starting with Niagara. So our opportunity to compete with them is something that fits with where we want to end up. Plus, we're playing a lot of teams that do different things. As I said, Niagara presses a lot. West Virginia is going to be very athletic. Youngstown State runs a lot of screens. So we're going to play a lot of teams that, could be similar to what we're going to see in Atlantic 10, and ultimately that's what we want to prepare for.
So the goal is to kind of see as many different schemes as you possibly can come end of December, early January?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to get better. So the better coach teams, the more different looks we get, that's our best opportunity to improve.
And then for Saturday, I mean, first look at this team, live. I mean, what are you guys hoping to get out of the Viewville exhibition?
Yeah, I mean, Viewville won their last 3 games. They played in kind of a small school, NIT, for lack of a better term, and they won that. They return a lot of folks, so they're going to be experienced. They're going to be confident. For our group, we have things that we do every day, and we want to carry those over. We want to keep getting a little better, and we also, I would think, and they probably could answer this better, but I would think it's an opportunity to show off a little bit of the hard work we've put in and to have some fun doing it.
Saturday, on an emotional level, going to be weird for you? First time putting on a Bonaventure polo, although when you coached before, it was everybody wearing a suit and tie. Is this gonna be emotional for you at all, you think, or?
There's, you know, I'm a uniquely emotional person. I probably don't show it much, but then I do show it much. This place has a lot of emotion for me, a lot more moments than I thought I've been caught up with. I'd say more excited. You know, the other day, I guess it was Fan Jam, and the popcorn was being made, and there was just that Bonaventure basketball buzz happening. And I had a feeling I haven't had in a while, and I think that was excitement. So I think there'll be some more of that on Saturday. There's always a little bit of nerves. There's a little bit of everything, but I'll also be excited for these guys. They've worked at it pretty good, so to get a chance to put on the uniform and roll it out is a good opportunity for them.
About culture, they're very much like the coach of the Bills, 60 miles north of here. Are the players behind me, the rest of the team, are they embracing that culture, even the newcomers?
So far, really well. So far, they get to build it, and we've talked about it. They get to build it. They you know, somebody comes and watches us 10 years from now. Someone comes and joins the program 5 years from now. Their fingerprints are on it. You know what's going to be important. They're determining that, and so far, been really pleased with that.
My final question, are the Bills gonna win the Super Bowl?
We'll see how the trade deadline goes.
I'm done.
Any other questions for Coach?
Yeah, one more. Do you see this season being more of a trial and error since this team is so new in so many ways, or do you already have like a set way that you want to play and like more of a set plan? if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think there's a few things with that. We do have a set way we want to play, and we're really deliberate with that. I mean, that's I would hope if you would ask those folks, they would be able to explain exactly what we want to do offensively and defensively and what we're about. If we've done our job, then that would be the case. But I think, and I'm not saying this is your question, but I think it's important. We're not here to just show up. We're not here to be a feel-good. We got some people that can play. We got some people that can compete. We have a standard that they've established, and you know we're gonna battle. And whether we're here or wherever we go, folks are gonna know they played us. What that means in the scoreboard, that'll be what it is. But they're gonna know they played us.
Great, thank you.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, how do you look to space the floor this year? I mean, we've seen in the past with this group that, you know, there are shooters on this team. How do you kind of mix that balance between your, you know, your shooters and your bigs?
Well, I mean, that's how we play. You know, we play in space, and we try to be really good off ball so that we can create even more space for the people with the ball, whether it be a driver, whether it be a shooter, or whether it be a post player. I have been incredibly impressed at how quickly our kids have picked up the concepts that we utilize, and even have had those discussions amongst themselves to play to each other's strengths. You know, so I think spacing is one of the biggest things we emphasize, and we haven't had to emphasize it because they've been pretty good at it so far.
Do you think that there's anything from coaching in the Big East for several seasons that will translate back to coming back to the A-10?
I don't know. I mean, basketball is basketball. There are some great coaches in the Big East, and there are some great coaches in the A-10. At the end of the day, you can know everything there is to know about whatever sport you're coaching, but if your folks don't want to be coached or don't buy in, it doesn't really matter what you know. And I'm really fortunate right now that we have people that are listening and buying in and incorporating what we're asking and getting better at it.